Now, still using my back leg, my base leg, I'm going to go for push kick. I'm trying to drive my right leg, the leg with the majority of the weight on it, forward onto my opponent's midsection. What I'm trying to do, I can use this in a defensive position. If my opponent was advancing forward, I can use the ball of my right toe to push it into the middle, the midsection, the soft region of my opponent. So, with the majority of my weight on my back leg already and my hands up in the basic foot position we started from, my opponent was moving forward. I raise my knee straight up the middle. Up the middle would be where your belly button, where your chin should be. Sometimes people would think that up the middle is this way. If you extend your leg this way and your opponent comes in with a knee, he's hitting your inside, separating your muscle, therefore not really working towards what you're trying to do. So make sure you get your knee cupped straight towards the middle. This kick is coming from your hips, using the push motion of your hips to go forward. Using the ball of your toe, you're trying to drive that in forward. Keeping your chin down, eyes forward on the target. Right push. Now you can use this in a defensive as your opponent moves forward. You're back, you push. Once you push, hit the pads or your opponent's midsection and then put the weight back onto the back foot. Again, the motion you're trying to use is swing forward with your hips. On this push kick, key thing here, you do not want to bend your lead knee. If you bend your knee, you're lowering yourself. You're also losing the power from the hips because then it goes to your leg. So make sure your leg has got pressure on it, but you're not bending the knee. As you raise your back knee up and push, pull it back. From this position, you want to make sure if your opponent is too far away and you miss, say your opponent moves forward and then he moves backwards, in and out. If I miss, from this position, I don't want to fall forward. Therefore, I'm going to try to slightly pivot my lead foot, almost turning this back push kick into a side kick. Forward on you guys, it's looking just like this. Notice my foot is on a slight angle. From there, I'm turning my foot. I'm not raising up on the ball of my toe. I'm just turning my foot open. Push kick. Side angle of the right push kick. Now, if my opponent is slightly jittery and not standing right in front of me, moving, showing angles, if he moves and I extend my foot too far on this, if you're up on the ball of your toe, what's going to happen is you're going to end up falling forward, putting yourself in a vulnerable position to be attacked. From here, that's why I'm trying to use my hips, focusing on keeping the power in my hips. I extend my foot. If he moves, I can plant and keep moving forward with knee, body kick, or I can pull back. If he moves, I'm right back, keeping the power in my hips and not on the balls of my feet. So from here, just key here is make sure you don't bend your knee. If you bend your knee, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position to where you could fall forward. So keep your foot so it can turn open. So if my opponent starts to move back, I won't fall forward on it, and I can follow through. Keeping your weight over the hips is important here. That's right push kick. Now, moving along with the push kick, we showed the push kick on the pads from a defensive position. Defensive, if you're standing in your stance and your opponent's moving forward, I'm using his momentum as well as the push of my hips to keep him away from me. It's in order for my opponent to stay off of me so I can set up or catch my breath. If I want to use my push kick as an offensive, if my opponent is moving from side to side or is not really engaging moving forward, what I can use it is a setup, part of something else. So leading with my push kick, my right push kick, I can go right push kick into my arsenal. just closing the gap with the push kick. In order to do that, I'm going to make sure that I keep my leg straight. If I bend my knee and I go into the push kick, I could miss, therefore not being able to set up any more of my arsenal. But if I keep my legs straight, locked out, I can advance forward. Almost using my push kick like a jab now, but I'm using my back leg. I just push it forward, trying to get the ball of my foot to hit the midsection or sternum. If I'm flexible, the chin of my opponent. Therefore, moving off, using as a setup. I can go forward from there. Push, and I can step. I can go to left. I could push and go to knee. Or I could just push and go into punching. That's using the push kick on the offensive position. Again, I can show it from the other angle. The defensive would be my opponent moving forward on me and me standing my ground. I use the push kick in the defense. Using a push kick in the offense, my opponent is not, he's basically moving away from me. If he's moving away from me, I set it up by closing the gap, the distance between both of us with that kick. From there I can go body kick, knee, punching. That's the right push kick on an offensive